Thomson Bible, Matthew chapter 27. Now early in the morning, all the chief priests and the elders of the people took counsel against Jesus to have him put to death. So, having bound him, they led him away and delivered him up to Pontius Pilate, the governor. Then Judas, who had delivered him up, finding that he was condemned, repented and carried back the 30 shekels of silver to the chief priests and the elders, saying, I have sinned in having betrayed innocent blood. To which they replied, What is that to us? Look thou to that. Thereupon he threw down the money in the temple and withdrew, and went and strangled himself. And the chief priests, taking the money, said, It is not lawful to put it into the holy treasury, seeing it is the price of blood. So, having consulted together, they bought with it the potter's field for the burial of strangers. Therefore, that field is ever since called the field of blood. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by the prophet Jeremias, saying, So I took the 30 pieces of silver, as the Lord commanded me. These being the price of him who was valued, whom some of the Israelites valued. These they gave for the potter's field. Now when Jesus stood before the governor asked him, saying, Thou art the King of the Jews? And Jesus said to him, As thou hast said, I am. But when he was accused by the chief priests and the elders, he made no reply. Then Pilate saith to him, Dost thou not hear what they testify against thee? But he made no reply to any charge, so that the governor was greatly surprised. Now at a festival it was customary for the governor to release to the people any one prisoner whom they desired. And they had then a noted prisoner named Barabbas. So when they were assembled, Pilate said to them, Whom do you desire me to release to you, Barabbas, or Jesus who is called Christ? For he knew that out of envy they had delivered him up. And while he was sitting on the tribunal, his wife had sent to him, saying, Have nothing to do with that righteous person, for I have this day suffered much in a dream on his account. But the chief priests and the elders had prevailed on the people that they should demand Barabbas and destroy Jesus. So when the governor, addressing them, said, Which of the two do you desire me to release to you? They said, Barabbas. Pilate saith to them, What then shall I do with Jesus, who is called Christ? They all say to him, Let him be crucified. Thereupon the governor said, Why? What evil hath he done? But they with more vehemence cried, Let him be crucified. When Pilate saw that he could not in the least prevail, but that a tumult rather was rising, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am clear from the blood of this innocent person. Look ye to it. Upon which all the people, answering, said, His blood be upon us and upon our children. Then he released to them Barabbas, and having scourged Jesus, delivered him up to be crucified. Then the soldiers of the governor took Jesus to the praetorium, and assembled about him the whole cohort. And having stripped him, they threw around him a scarlet military robe, and having platted a crown of thorns, they put it on his head, and a reed in his right hand. And falling on their knees before him, they mocked him, saying, "Hail, King of the Jews!" Then, having spit in his face, they took the reed and struck him on the head. And when they had mocked him, they took off the robe and put his own raiment on him, and led him out to be crucified. And as they were going out, they met a man of Cyrene named Simon, and compelled him to carry the cross. And having come to a place called Golgotha, the meaning of which is the place of a skull, they gave him to drink vinegar mingled with a bitter drug, which, when he tasted, he would not drink. Then, having crucified him, they parted his garments by lot, thus verifying what was spoken by the prophet. They parted my garments among them, and for my vesture they cast lots. And, sitting down, they guarded him there. Now over his head they had placed this inscription, denoting the charge against him: "This is Jesus, the King of the Jews." At the same time, 2 robbers were crucified with him, one on his right hand, and the other on his left. And they who passed by reviled him, shaking their heads, and saying, "Thou, the demolisher of the temple, and the rebuilder of it in 3 days, save thyself. If thou art the Son of God, come down from the cross." In like manner also the chief priests and the scribes and the elders, deriding him, said, "He saved others, cannot he save himself? If he be the King of Israel, let him now come down from the cross, and we will believe him. He trusted in God. Let him now deliver him, if he delighteth in him. For he said, I am the Son of God." Nay, even the robbers who were crucified with him upbraided him in the same manner. Now from the 6th hour there was darkness over the whole land till the 9th hour. And about the 9th hour Jesus cried with a loud voice, saying, "Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani," that is, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" Whereupon some of them who stood there, hearing this, said, "He calleth Elias." And immediately one of them ran, and having taken a sponge, soaked it with vinegar, and having fixed it to a reed, gave him to drink. But the rest said, "Forbear, let us see whether Elias will come to save him." And Jesus, having cried again with a loud voice, expired. And lo, the veil of the temple was rent in 2 from top to bottom, and the earth quaked, and the rocks were rent, and the tombs were opened, and many bodies of saints composed to rest, were awakened, and having come out of their tombs after his resurrection, they went into the holy city and appeared to many. When the centurion and they who were with him guarding Jesus observed the earthquake and what had happened, they were greatly terrified and said, "This was certainly a son of a god." Now many women were there, looking on at a distance, who had accompanied Jesus from Galilee to wait upon him, among whom were Mary Magdalene, and Mary the mother of James and Joses, and the mother of the sons of Zebedee. And in the evening there came a rich man of Arimathea, whose name was Joseph, and who himself was a disciple of Jesus. This man, having gone to Pilate, had begged the body of Jesus, and Pilate had ordered the body to be given to him. So Joseph, having taken the body, wrapped it up in a clean sindon, and laid it in his own new tomb, which he had hewn in the rock. And having rolled a great stone to the entrance of the tomb, he went away. But Mary Magdalene and the other Mary continued sitting there over against the tomb. At the close of the day succeeding the preparation, the chief priests and the Pharisees went in a body to Pilate and said, "Sir, we have recollected that this impostor, when alive, said, 'After 3 days I shall be raised up.' Give orders, therefore, that the sepulchre be secured till the 3rd day. Perhaps his disciples may come by night and steal him away, and tell the people he is risen from the dead. So this last imposture will be worse than the first." Thereupon Pilate said to them, "You have a guard. Go and secure it as you can." So they went and secured the sepulchre, sealing the stone and posting the guard.